Welcome to Candidate Conversations for the March 5 Rio Rancho municipal elections. For this series, the Rio Rancho Observer has invited all city council candidates in for an interview to discuss why they're running and thoughts on city issues. Additionally, we have invited representatives from the city in to discuss 3 bond issues that are on the ballot. All right, today we have Deborah Dapson, candidate for City Council District 1. Can you take a few moments and introduce yourself, your background, and why you're running for City Council?
Sure. Thank you for having me. My name is Deb, as she mentioned. I go by Deb. I am a business owner, a small business owner in Rio Rancho. I've lived in Rio Rancho for about 15 years. And I've been working, I'm a website designer, and I've been in the marketing business pretty much most of my career. I am running because I feel like our district is not being represented as well as it could be. We live in the southwest, basically the western side of Rio Rancho. It's where it's a lot more rural, and I want to be able to be a voice for the people that are living there because somebody needs to go be a voice for them.
And one of the reasons that people move into Rio Rancho is due to its lower crime rate, the public safety issue. Even so, there's still issues with crime, theft, drugs, even sometimes murder, just like any community. How should the city work to eradicate or at least lessen the impact of those crimes?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to say that we're really lucky in Rio Rancho that we do have less crime than other areas. And part of the reason we do is because we have a really good police force. And what I think, I also think that the judicial system also works really well. I was in a grand jury once and got to see the process, and it works really well. But I believe that, we have a bond right now in our current election for public safety. I think we should continue to support the police department. I think we should train more officers. I think we should train officers for things like de-escalation. But most importantly, I would like to see more actual cars on the road, okay. More patrolling.
More patrol.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, what type, you said you're a business owner, so what type of business would you like to see moving into Rio Rancho? How would we get them there? And even maybe diversify the types of businesses that are coming to the city? Yeah,
one of the complaints I hear from a lot of people is how we have, as far as restaurants are concerned, we have like 1,000 chicken places and pretty much nothing else. And that's not entirely true, but I would like to see more, maybe higher end restaurants. But I also think that our side, the west side of Rio Rancho, needs like a grocery store that's a little closer. Some of the areas in District 1 are what would be considered food deserts because it takes more than 20 minutes to get to a grocery store. So it would be nice to have more of those. Interestingly, the Economic Alliance believes that we need more tech in medical tech and business support tech and even advanced tech like aerospace and things like that. And I think those are good because we could talk about diversifying. Mm-hmm. And in order to bring those, we have to entice people to come. Mm-hmm. So we have to let them know about our great city, how wonderful our city is, what the climate is like, how the cost of living is great, and then I don't know, go market in trade magazines or go to trade shows and stuff for those kind of businesses, and those would be really good because they would bring a lot of jobs. But I also think we need more small businesses too, in little mom and pop type grocery stores and restaurants and things like that, and having a friendly city council who is willing to offer maybe incentives to new business would probably be the best way to bring more business here.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the proposed LNG facility in the Rio Rancho city limits, and how do you think it will impact the city and its residents?
To be honest with you, I'm terrified of it. I don't think we really need an LNG. I don't think we need a storage plant. And a storage plant offers the possibility of accidents. And if there's a leak, it's not going to necessarily explode at the plant. And my district happens to be really close to the area where they're talking about building it. And so the people in my district are the ones who are in the most danger of if a gas plume comes across and somebody decides to light up their barbecue and instead lights up the neighborhood. That's what I'm afraid of. So I really don't think we need it, and I don't really want one.
Okay. Before the current legislative session came up, the city and the county both called on in their priorities, called on the legislature to impose more restrictive open records laws. Some of the residents, and including us, the Observer, we have called for more transparency in the past. Where do you stand on that?
I 100% stand on more transparency. I think that is one of the issues, just from a government perspective, that my district's constituents have a problem with. And one of the reasons why I decided to run is that they don't know what's going on. They know, why are we not getting this? They don't know what's going on in the city and why roads are being built here and not here. And I think that we should, everybody, I think that anything that has to do with the public should be transparent.
Okay. Do you feel like the current city council handled the call last year to remove LGBTQIA-themed books from the city's public libraries in the appropriate manner, or is there something you would have a way you would have responded differently?
Well, I went to those meetings, and I was one of the people who was proponent for letting the libraries be libraries, and I was really proud of the city council for the way they handled it. I thought they did exactly the right thing and put the onus on parents.
Okay. And then you mentioned it just a brief minute ago, roads. They're a continuing issue in Rio Rancho. Do you think the city is taking the right approach to scheduling repairs and replacements, or what, if any, changes do you think needs to be made to that process?
So that's a really difficult question, because I know that the city is facing horrendous problems with roads. And there are so many roads, it's just almost too many to name, that need to be built, to be resurfaced or patched or repaired or even maybe built. So off the top of my head, I would say I'm okay with the way they're doing it. I know that every year or every 2 years, whenever we have another municipal election, we vote another bond in, and the citizens have been really good about, voting them in. And so I know that they're doing the best that they can. It would be, and I also know that we're getting matched funds from federal and state to do this. So I really can't complain. The only difference I could say is I would like to see them do a little bit more in my district. And I haven't been in on the working meetings to know exactly what their thinking is around the scheduling, but that's one of the reasons why I want to be in those meetings, so I can have a voice in how they plan that. So, yeah.
And then, there's also the issue of pedestrian safety. It's come to the forefront in recent months with some horrible accident fatalities. What steps do you think can be taken to improve that in the city?
Well, and that's an interesting question, considering the conversation I had with some people on yesterday. So the area that I was walking in is the housing that's behind to the north of Southern, just to the north of Southern. And there's some major thoroughfares that are right through the housing. And one of the streets that I was on is called Baltic. And the majority of people I talked to complained that they couldn't get speed bumps. And I said, as I was dodging cars going from house to house, I completely understood why. People drive 50 miles an hour in this 25-mile-an-hour zone. And it's really scary. And so that's one thing that could happen, is that maybe we start looking at more of the thoroughfares and putting in road speed bumps that fire trucks can drive over. There's still speed bumps, but the fire trucks can drive over, because that's been what I've heard is the reason why they hasn't happened yet. I know there was an accident right at the corner of Meadowlark and 528, because it was my neighbor who was killed, and that whole area is scary. There are turns onto 528 from a lot of the side streets that are really hard to see. Hard to see the traffic coming. So I think I don't know, maybe more more warnings or something for drivers to pay attention. That that's the only thing I can really think of. I could probably think of some more, but that's what I could think of off the top of my head.
Okay. Fair enough. One of the candidates has stated that this is one of the most important elections that Rio Rancho has had. Do you agree with that statement, and why would you answer that way?
Wow. Well, I'm going to have to say yes because I'm running. No, but in all honesty, some of the people that are on this city council have been there for a really long time, and I think that I think it needs a shakeup, and so I do think it's a really important election.
Okay. What do you think are the biggest challenges currently facing the city of Rio Rancho?
Well, roads. And then roads. That really is probably one of the biggest ones. The other one, I think, is the whole transparency issue. There's a lot of disaffected people who think that the government doesn't care. Their own personal government doesn't care. There's a lot of problem. A lot of people are really concerned about what's happening nationally. Mm-hmm. And so as I've been telling them, I can't do anything about what's going on nationally, so I want to do something about what's happening here. And I think it would really behoove the city council to try to do even more to get the word out and do like I'm planning on holding town meetings with my citizens if I'm elected to get the word out. This is what's happening. This is what we're doing so that people can buy into it. We have a great city, and there's a lot of great things going on in it, and I want people to be able to know that and support us, be happy too.
And then do you think the city is currently moving in the right direction, and why would you say the answer you have?
Yeah, I actually do think it's moving in the right direction. Rio Rancho is built haphazardly. And, if you just driving around there and from one subdivision to another subdivision to another subdivision, it's really crazy. It's not on a grid, and so it's kind of difficult. But it feels to me like they're focusing on building up housing and affordable housing in areas to the point where we can actually entice businesses to come in. So, I was really happy to see the Rainbow Canyon move into my neighborhood because that just means more people, and we might be able to bring a grocery store or something out there. So yeah, I think they're doing things right. I think I would continue in that fashion.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Is there anything else that you want to touch on that we haven't gotten around to yet?
No, I think I pretty much said everything I can think of.
All right. So thank you for coming in and speaking with us and getting your points of view on some of these issues out there. And, everybody listening or watching, please make sure you get out and vote March 5 or even before with early voting.
Right. No, I've already voted.
So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Hi, my name is Deb Dapson. I'm running for Rio Rancho City Council District 1. And to all of those residents of District 1, I want to be your voice in the City Council. And the only way I could do that is if you vote. So go out and vote.
Rio Rancho municipal elections are slated for 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. March 5 at a variety of locations in Rio Rancho. Residents can vote at any polling location no matter their address. Voting centers will be at Broadmoor Senior Center Clerks Annex, Plaza at Unser Marketplace, Loma Colorado Library, Rio Rancho MVD on Sabana Grande Avenue, the Hub at Enchanted Hills, Rio West Business Center, Cabazon Community Center, Rio Rancho Middle School, Cielo Azul Elementary School, Puesta del Sol Elementary School, Lincoln Middle School, and Colinas del Norte Elementary School. Early voting kicks off February 6 at Broadmoor Senior Center Clerks Annex with hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday through March 2. Saturday voting kicks off February 17 with hours of 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Additional locations will open for early voting February 17 at Plaza at Unser Marketplace, Loma Colorado Library, Rio Rancho MVD on Sabana Grande Avenue, the Hub at Enchanted Hills, and Rio West Business Center. Absentee voting begins February 6. Voters may cast an absentee ballot by submitting an application to the city clerk's office no later than February 20. Ballots must be returned to the city clerk's office no later than 7 p.m. on Election Day, March 5.